Hello and welcome. I'm Annette Reeder from the biblicalnutritionist.com. And today we're talking about the dangers of melatonin and is there a better option? We hear about melatonin all over the place. People get prescribed melatonin, people take melatonin, you can order it yourself, but is that something you should be doing? Well, today I'm interviewing Dr. Sean Talbot, and we're going to talk about melatonin. There's a lot of misconceptions about melatonin, and it's something you really need to pay attention to. And we're also going to share with you some other steps that you can take on your own to hopefully not need the melatonin and get restful sleep. So thanks for watching and letting me share with you God's recipe for excellent health. All right, well, Dr. Sean, I am again excited that you're here because your depth of knowledge is so incredible and you speak it in such a way that all of us have a takeaway and we all have something we can take. It's like, okay, I can apply that. So thank you so much for joining us again.
Yeah, my pleasure, Annette. It's always great to talk to you.
Well, the topic is sleep, and I've got 7 grandkids, and I've got some that sleep really well, and I've got others that struggle with it. And so the question is, what do you do? Do you do some techniques? Do you do different diet? I mean, all of those work, but then there's always that time where you're like, well, what if I took a supplement for that? And melatonin is the most popular, very much the most popular choice. I know so many people that use melatonin. But yet, what I'm learning from you is, wait a minute, there's risk in melatonin. So give us a little bit of backdrop on melatonin and your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so yeah, the problem is big. If your kids aren't sleeping, it doesn't just affect the kids, it affects the whole family dynamic. So you really want to get the kids to sleep. And if we look at the statistics, half to maybe 3/4 of kids, and I in that category, it's elementary kids, it's middle school kids, it's high school kids that are all not getting the required amount of sleep. So, parents are kind of at their wits' end and they say, well, maybe we'll try melatonin. And the reason you don't want to do that there are many reasons, but especially in kids, as their hormones are developing and they start going through puberty, melatonin is a hormone that impacts on reproductive hormones. So there's some data to suggest that taking melatonin long term can interfere with the hormone changes that happen during puberty. So that's something you don't want to mess with. You also just don't want to be putting your kids on something where if they're taking melatonin every single night to go to sleep, then they're going to be stuck on it, right? They're going to be dependent on melatonin, and then they're going to have to take it. And then, the more you take it, the more you need to take because your body develops a tolerance to it. There's just so many reasons to not take a synthetic hormone to get your kids to sleep. So I look at it differently, right? As a nutritional biochemist, I say, wait a minute, is there a way we can enhance the body's natural production of its own melatonin? And I think that's a smarter way for a lot of people to go, because if you produce more melatonin tonight and less melatonin the next day, and you produce different levels of it throughout the night, that's what enables you to go through the sleep cycle. So you want to spend some time in deep sleep where your body recovers and some time in REM sleep where your brain recovers. And you can't get that by taking a 3 milligram dose of melatonin first thing before you go to bed. It's not what we call naturalistic sleep. So the solution is, don't do that. Don't take melatonin, make melatonin. And there's ways that we can encourage the body to do that.
Well, you said one word in there. You said synthetic. I don't think most people realize that melatonin on the shelf is a synthetic. And these
Right.
are people looking for natural remedies, and yet they don't know that. So just give us a little bit more about that fact that it is a synthetic.
It is a synthetic. Yeah. 100% of the melatonin on the market is synthesized in a laboratory. So it's on the one hand, it is a natural hormone that your body makes, but this is not there's nothing natural about the melatonin that you're buying in a capsule or in a gummy or in a liquid. It's all synthesized in a laboratory. And that doesn't make it necessarily bad, but it's certainly not natural, so it's a different way. And like I said before, taking a single 3 milligram dose, which is the standard dose for most supplements, at the beginning of your evening is not a natural sleep pattern, right? That is not how your body naturally makes melatonin at the right times, in the right amounts for the different people. There's nothing natural about it.
Okay, but So what about, so we could do diet, we could do other therapies, just cutting down the screen time. We can do a lot of different things to initiate a sleep cycle. But what you're saying is melatonin isn't giving us that pattern that we need.
Right.
And so even doing all of those things just gets us to sleep, but we need to keep that pattern of sleep that while we're sleeping. So what do we do? And obviously you're into supplements big time because you're a formulator. You take science, you take natural ingredients that God gave us, and then you figure out how to put them together in a natural way so we can actually get the benefit. So are there natural supplements that you can actually take that will keep us in that sleeping pattern that you just described?
Yeah, there are. So one of the ones that I really like is just an amino acid called 5-HTP. 5-HTP stands for 5-hydroxytryptophan. Tryptophan is an amino acid. We get it in protein foods. We get it in any sort of any sort of protein food is going to contain tryptophan. Your body will use tryptophan to make serotonin, which is sort of like the happiness neurotransmitter, and then use that serotonin to make melatonin. So there's a whole biochemical pathway here of tryptophan to 5-hydroxytryptophan to serotonin to melatonin. And so that's what your body wants to see instead of just, a big dose of melatonin coming through the door. Another way to do it is with a really unique ingredient called corn grass. So when corn or wheat, even they're in this category called monocot grasses. When they're about a week old, maybe as long as a month old, they look like a piece of grass. You just growing out of the ground. That is really high in a natural polyphenol that your body can use to make its own serotonin or use to make its own melatonin. So what I like people to do is try a combination of 5-HTP and corn grass to really enhance that natural production of melatonin. And when we give that in clinical trials, we see that people, they fall asleep faster, they stay asleep longer, and really importantly, they get better sleep quality. And we can measure this. We put headbands on people and we measure their sleep quality. We measure how many minutes are they in REM, where their brain is recovering, how many minutes are they in deep, where their body is recovering, and that sleep efficiency or sleep quality improves by about 40%. And so like that is something I really encourage parents to look at, because sleep quality is the most important thing. You could have your kid could be in bed for 8 or 9 or 10 hours, and if they're not getting good sleep quality, they're waking up the next morning and they're still groggy and they can't focus and they have a bad day at school and they're irritable. So you really want to focus on that quality piece. And that's what 5-HTP and corn grass can give us.
I so agree with you. As 5-HTP, I've been studying that for probably 20 years. I mean,
Right.
that has had such an impact just on mental wellness and how people feel and how they think. And so putting the two together and helping with sleep, that makes perfect sense.
Right. And what I love about the natural combination is that now your body has these building blocks on board, right? You take your 5-HTP, you take your corn grass, you have these natural building blocks. One's an amino acid, one is a polyphenol from natural ingredients. Then your body can decide, what does it need more of? Does it need more serotonin in the day so you're happier? Does it need more melatonin in the evening so you have better sleep quality? If you have a good quality of sleep tonight, you're going to have a better, happier, less stressed, more productive day the next day. If you have a good day, that's going to lead to a better night. So it really gets you back into a very productive, a very virtuous cycle versus the vicious cycle so many people are in these days, where they're stressed out and they have a bad day, and then that leads to a bad night of sleep, and that bad night of sleep leads to an even worse day. So like that's a terrible cycle to be in. If we can use these natural building blocks to restore that natural melatonin serotonin rhythm, people are happier in the day and less stressed, and they can sleep better, and that just gets us going in the right direction.
That sounds wonderful. So, but you've been doing studies with these ingredients on kids.
Right.
What are you seeing happening with kids? Because most people who have kids want them to sleep because that's the parents' respite. It's like, oh,
Right.
great, sleep. Like we need kids to sleep, but not just for our own personal well-being, but also for their ability to learn. And you touched on that, their ability to be nice, their ability to be happy. So what have you learned in your studies by combining these two with kids? How is it working for them?
Yeah. So first of all, they sleep better. So we definitely can see that, and we can quantify that, and we can show how many minutes more they spent in REM and how many minutes more they spent in deep. But then the next day, they're focusing better. They're more empathetic. So this is something that I think your viewers will find interesting. When we're sleep deprived, we are less empathetic with other people. We're less likely to make a connection. We're less likely to be in a good mood, or care about what is happening to somebody else. We see that with children as well. And the way we see it with children is that they're better in their social relationships. So they have less behavioral problems, they have less blow-ups, they have less meltdowns. Everything about how they function the next day is improved because they got a better quality sleep. So, like it's not just about the sleep, right? Like I said before, it really is about their entire interaction with the world and with their family. And sleep is one of those underappreciated aspects of our overall lifestyle. And if we can do something that's really simple and really effective and natural, I think that's something a lot of people are going to be interested in.
Oh, I know they are. I know probably 4 out of 5 parents are interested in this because there's that much struggle. And we see it all around us. We see it everywhere we go where there's kids, even adults. You can tell when they're not sleeping well because it shows. It shows in all of the ways that you just mentioned. So, all right. Well, this is great. I know a lot of people are going to be interested in this. So, is there anything else you want to share with us about this? I mean, you did formulate a product that has these two ingredients together. Does it have anything else in it that helps the children to sleep?
Yeah, so what we did with this new product, so it's called Kids Calm. It's a really new product, and it's a gummy. And I know kids are gonna love that. Adults love that too. So this is the first time we've been able to make a gummy to carry all these ingredients. So 5-HTP is one, corn grass is one, but the process, what I call sleep biochemistry of getting those ingredients, one amino acid and one polyphenol, to eventually become serotonin or melatonin. The biochemistry of that requires some zinc and some B vitamins and some magnesium and a couple of other things, what are called cofactors. And so what we were able to do in this gummy is put all those cofactors in there. So we have ingredients that help you relax, we have ingredients that help you wind down, we have ingredients that help you get better sleep quality, and we have ingredients that help that whole process biochemically happen in the body. So, we want to make sure that we're not just giving the building blocks and crossing our fingers. We really want to make the whole metabolic machinery go in the right direction. And because of that, we launched this product just, I don't know, maybe a week or two ago, and my phone and my email has been
Yeah.
blowing up with, oh my gosh, I tried everything. I tried, no screens, and I tried, dark room, and I tried this and I tried that. And this is the only thing that's helped my kids. And hooray, if that's going to be the solution for a lot of people, I'm really excited about that.
No, that's an incredible blessing that you're giving to parents. So they will be singing your praises for a long time. So you mentioned the zinc, the B, and the magnesium. Some people are going to look at the label and say, oh, you're just kind of buffing it up to make it look like it has more. But what you're saying, though, is you really need those as cofactors to pull it all together and make it work.
Right, exactly. Yeah, if you're missing any of those cofactors, the biochemical machinery won't run. It sort of is, it'll run, but it runs sluggishly. So what we're trying to do is really optimize that so that your body can say, here are these beautiful building blocks, let's do something with them. So if it happens to be serotonin, you're going to be happier in the day. If it happens to be melatonin, you're going to be having better quality sleep in the evening. And I think what people will realize is that they end up getting both of those, because once that biochemistry is solid and you have the cofactors and you have the building blocks, and your body starts to learn again how to make melatonin in the right amounts at the right times, etc., that means that you're going to have happier days and more relaxed nights, and that's going to lead to happier days and more relaxed nights, and you get into that virtuous cycle I was talking about before.
Yeah, excellent. All right. Well, for those watching, we will put a link to your product down below and they can check that out and learn about it and try it with their kids. And as you said, it's a gummy and it's got all natural. Well, okay, let me just say any natural sweeteners in it to make it taste good,
Yeah,
or did we,
yeah. It's sweetened with blueberry juice. So
oh,
yeah, blueberry juice was perfect because it gives a beautiful little, it makes it
yeah.
look nice and it makes it taste nice. And the problem parents are going to have, I have to be honest with you, Annette, the problem parents are going to have is that the kids are going to want another one and another one and another
Yeah.
one. And it's not candy, it's something that's really going to help them.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. Well, I'm excited about this. I'm excited that you just had the brilliance to come up with this and to realize sleeping with kids is a big issue. And then what comes from that is the school and the family life, everything. So I'm excited about the testimonies that we're going to get for this, and that so many parents are going to say, okay, amen. This was a great answer. I'm so excited. So
Right. Exactly.
thank you, Dr. Sean, for joining us here today to talk about melatonin and just the risk factors with melatonin, but then also bringing it around to, okay, there are natural solutions that actually work, and we can just use real food and put it together and make it happen. So thank you very much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Thanks for letting me share this interview with Dr. Sean Talbot about melatonin and about sleep. It is so important for us to get restful sleep. Scripture is clear that we are to rest. And that's why he created us to sleep at night, so that we can have that detoxifying effect when we sleep, and then that vibrancy when we wake up. This is important for us to just have anti-stress days, and for us to have happy moments and a better serotonin level, so that we can just experience the goodness of the Lord in a more happy attitude. So we can have the full joy of the Lord, even though that's more of a decision versus, what you eat. But you know what I'm talking about. So thanks for letting me share this with you today. And I'll put links to the products down below. Be sure and catch the coupon code, because anytime I can save you money, I want to do that. So you matter to me, and I always want to make sure that what we offer to you is a blessing. Thanks for watching.